There it is. TGIF, my AKAPADers. Give me 1 second. Hey, it's early in the morning. We're getting to our comic books right away. On Fridays, we try and do it. Independent, black and white books from yesteryear. From the 90s, the 80s, prime time black and white comics. Now, every once in a while, we will do something in color that's in the spirit of everything we're about to go through today. And that's this right here. From Ground Zero Graphics, the Shadowwalker Chronicles for $2.25, printed in Canada, July number 1, 1991. Here's the question I know you guys are already going to ask. Do we have a better cover layout on the back cover? Right? You guys always say, right? Like just for example, like we have Gen 13 issue 1 here, right? I know you're thinking, do we have an alternate design layout on the back cover of Gen 13 number 1? And no, we don't. It's actually the Killer Instinct tour. Well, Ground Zero Graphics says, let's do that. And here it is, the Shadowwalker Chronicles with a different trade dress. Here's the wild thing. This works so much better. To me, it's so much more clear. It communicates everything you want a cover to communicate more than here. Because we have this gap. Like, what is with this gap? Whatever. But at the same time, we have Tom Grummett. If you're not familiar with Tom Grummett is the guy that drew the 90s Superboy. He drew Robin. He is a non-stop, in my view, preeminent DC Comics artist. He's one of the best. Here's the wild thing. I believe he does a book called Ground Zero through Ape Press that was published. It was a small imprint at the time, but he does a book called Ground Zero through Image Comics. Feel free to look that up. But Tom Grummett is one of the guys. Now, you might say, well, is there anything else weird about this comic before we crack it open? Well, yes, there is. See, we go to the back. Sometimes I'll flip to the back as I'm reading, because I look for credits. I look for who worked on the book, and we don't get that at all. We don't get it on the back, inside back cover, and we don't get it on the inside front at all. Now we have some thank yous here. Now here's the cool thing. This Dear Shade, give me 1 second here, guys. I'm sorry. This letter here is somewhat written in universe, and it pulls in the idea that the people who made the comic are transcribing something bigger to inform a larger mass of people. It's in universe, and I give this publication, I give the effort a lot of credit for that. I love through lines, and I kind of fall in love with things that commit to the bit. And for me, Shadowwalker Chronicles commits to the bit. Now, before we go through this amazing artwork, one more thing. This book previously was published by Airsoul Press. We've been talking about them so much on this channel, so much so they're becoming one of my favorite 90s and late 80s comic book publishers. But so they get bought out by Malibu, and when they get bought out by Malibu, this book gets axed. So, which is wild to me, because this is a strong issue 1, but for whatever reason, issue 2 gets canceled. So the crew, they get together, they publish it themselves under Ground Zero Graphics, and it only goes for 2 issues. So I know you guys were asking about that. Like, how many issues do we have of this? Everything we have here, I think, is probably a 4 to 6 issue miniseries. This is a very strong story. We have some independent lettering, but and we know how independent lettering sometimes can take us out of a comic. But we're willing to swallow that pill because everything we have here is just so well done. All right, and then what we have here is one fantastic opening, okay? We have midnight. The waterfront slums are strangely quiet this night of the full moon, except within the house leased to blah, 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 blah. Right. So we see these guys. We see something happening in the windows. Shadowalker, private detective, and his friend Von Kolak watch with growing alarm. The wild, dancing, eerie music and rising stench are not mere signs of a teenager's party. ... Walker has encountered this hypnotic music and repulsive odor before. They are harbingers of something evil. So, I mean, like, it's all gas here. I love the opening. It sets the entire mood, and the illustrations here, like, we are like in the slums. We have a tire here. We have like some type of grate there, box maybe full of teenager alcohol. Kids are partying, but look, these two roll up, and here we go. We can't wait any longer, y'all. Valve, is it Vove, right? Vove, or it'll be too late for the boy. Let's do it. Like, let's do it. Let's go. So they get into the house, but look. So, excuse me. What Tom Grummett does here, he double establishes the environment because we have the car rolling up. The car rolling up to a dilapidated house, paper street soap company here. That's a Fight Club reference. This is a difficult shot to get off the bat, right? But he gives us another establishing shot where when they get out of the car and we see like more of the house. So here we go. So the dude, I love this also. Like, there's a little bit of a transformation here because Vav here, is it Vav? I don't know. VOV. That's the guy's name. But we see that he's got this like hat on, right? Like, he's got the hat from the guy from Poltergeist 2. But when he gets out of the car, he takes off his jacket, takes off the hat, and we see that he's just like jacked, and he has this like mystical an amulet. I'm ready for him. And look, here we go. And he's like, go around the back. He kicks down the front door. I'm only to assume that Grummett here also, like, he did the cover painting. He probably did the gray tones. The lettering, I think, is either computer or they might, like, even back during the day, even things with like Quark Express and publishing applications, you could do your own word balloons, but it wasn't on the level of like Quark Express or what later we got with Microsoft Illustrator, because there's a little bit of a opacity that's light, so we can kind of see some of the background. And I like that this could be a choice through the application that they use to put the pages together for printing. But I like that the word balloons are not pure white. I think when they blend into the artwork and the mood of the piece a little bit better, it's a good trick. But yeah, here we go. The fire, demon boy here with a gun, comes up behind our hero detective, and that dude gets nuked in the chest. He breaks through the door. Guys, look at that doorknob. That is such a nice doorknob. And I love the fur. I love the sheep-lined leather jacket that he has. This, you guys know what jacket this is, right? This is the Rocky IV jacket. Rocky IV, right here. But a nice bottom of the foot. But yeah, so they're busting up this ritual. They got these demon people, like their people are transforming. Look at the electricity, the lighting effects here. I mean, like, this is, look how powerful of a pose and of a panel this is. And we get some straight up how you draw comic books the Marvel way punches here. So the demon gets nuked by Knuckle Sandwich. Our shaman dude here, he is all go, no quit. And these two, they're just wreaking havoc. And the shaman guy calls out, he's like, destroy the source of the power, which is like this amulet that was, you know, pretty much on top of, we get like a good shot of it right here. So like they're praying to this idol, to this amulet. He shotgun blasts it, and then everyone kind of like comes out of their possession. But look at that pose right there. And look, guys, we're doing like 90s cape flows here. So like we can kind of say there was a general census within comics to make things more dynamic. And that's the sign of that. But yeah, like some great lighting. The demon dude's gone. And then, so essentially, they like send the kids home. They're like, kids, get the hell out of here. I'll, like, one of them he recognizes. He's like, I'll drive you home. And then he's like, hey, he go, one day soon we'll stop him, the bloody Drakenbuch, for good. So, yeah, they're chronicling. So this is essentially a detective story. It's a neo-noir dark detective story, very much in the vein of manga and anime's Wicked City, which we profiled on this channel before. And then we get this babe like walking home. She's pissed that someone wrote this kind of like a BS article about her in the Midnight Inquirer, and she's like, I ought to quit this rag. I'm a serious journalist. What? I never said. And then all of a sudden she gets approached by this guy. He goes, we have business to conclude with you, reporter. And she's like, you know, she's like, you know, not having a good work day. But guys, look at how we reassess. He does it three different ways. We end the scene here, right? It's a good anchor. We know we're done with the scene here. Good pose, black background, not a lot of detail. So when we turn the page, you know, we get a little bit of this medium shot, but then we pull away and we get a cityscape shot. You know, we're eye level, but then he pulls more away and we see more of the street. So within the first 2 pages of the next scene, Tom Grummett here, he establishes and reestablishes we're in a different setting. Hugely important. And look at his trash cans here. But the artistry here, like I'm just, even now looking at this with you guys, I am blown away to how well he's illustrated this. So she kind of has this awakening when this guy approaches her, and she's psychic, and because she's psychic, she can see these, you know, these like kind of weird looking individuals, but she sees them as like aliens, and they're aliens. And they're like, oh, this BITCH can see us. She starts running. She's like, you can't escape. So all hell's breaking loose. And then she psychically rips these guys. And then they send their, like, hounds after her. Like, guys, like, look at this. So, like, busting through, you know, like, looking like a teapot here. But busting through the manhole. I mean, this is a difficult panel. Like, again, if a writer described a little bit of this sequence, it's tough because check this out. The shadow, and then like the light is emanating from the manhole. So the creature is in silhouette, and we have this like heavy shadow. Super eerie, super well done. But here, before we turn the page, and we have yet another anchor to where, look, she's running in this direction. The creature's facing this direction. So, right, we know to turn the page. Her direction is telling us what to do, but we also established that we're in an alley. And how does he do that? We have the hanging clothes, the clothes dryer line there. And then, boom, look at that. Another psychic explosion. Look, we have the lights over her eyes. Doom's coming, and then she has this line, which we kind of see like on the cover, on the back cover. She has a baseball bat, which is why, again, going back to the back cover, this is why the back cover is 100 times better than the front cover. But she's like, hey, she's like, you know, I'm a baseball player, and she's like, oh, and this thing's like starts growling. She's like, maybe not, and then he's like, Karn ooze yak unt, because he's talking creature language, and they respond. We see like they're hunched over looking at him. So he flips, takes off his jacket again. Jack Boy has returned. She's like, who are you? So he gives her like a business card. He lowers, I mean, guys, look at these effects. These effects are so legit. But yeah, he lowers the fire escape ladder. She's like, how did you do that? We have more amazing effects here by Tom Grummett. He's like, get up there, get in touch with that guy. We have 90s piping, 90s folding for her trench coat here. He's going to take everyone on. And then he's like, take off your trench coat. And she's like, no, it's cold. She literally, and he's like, you have to do it. Your scents aren't it. So, you know, like, because we're treating them a little bit like hound dogs, kind of cool. But she gets to the top. We have one amazing another new amazing establishing shot here. Our ripped shaman boy with his super cane and his amulet thing. Well, he transforms into a werewolf. He literally, and then he goes buck wild, shreds them all, and she's just like, this is the weirdest night of my life. And we only got a couple pages left, but guys, look at this panel. Look, she sees the aliens trying to hunt her down, but look at this. Like, were you like, if you saw this in the dollar bin, you might not even crack it open. This is why we do these things. But again, another nice long silhouette here. Close, like the dogs are like, who could have done this? The cops are coming, and then the aliens cover everything up. Like, this is like a through line here. This is like a well thought out story. The aliens open up a portal and they suck all the evidence away. And then we have, you know, like our shaman guy. He's right there hanging with his cane. He gets on top of the lamp post here, or the, you know, like the mount for the lamp, and he goes, tomorrow, Shadowwalker, your fate will be changed by this spirited woman. She will bring you much trouble, but you won't be able to stay away from her. So the Shadowwalkers are these aliens that can kind of like slip through dimensions or slip through space, and they're up to something, but they're also down with the business, and the business is teenage ritual parties. But I'm sure it's all linked, and that's why we want to read. So we judge our comics here on this channel if we want to read issue 2, right? Like, it doesn't matter. Every issue 1 should lead into an issue 2, and I'm like all in on this. And I think Tom Grummett is just like really giving us something nice to look at. This is a great effort from 1991 from a guy that literally got embedded in 90s DC, and later, like, Tom too even had a great X-Men run. He drew like the alternate universe X-Men, as if like Chris Claremont never stopped writing it. That might have been called, I forget it's like an Elseworlds X-Men. I forget the name of that, but he's everything he draws is fantastic, and I had no idea he was a part of this book, but I'm grateful for it.